Each individual will have a 2-minute opening statement. We will then move on to the question and answer portion. Each individual will have 1 minute to answer each question. There will be no rebuttals for any of the questions. We will then move on to closing statements. Each individual will have 1 minute for closing statements. The closing statements will be in the reverse order that the opening statements are. And as of now, we have 2 questions. So if you have any other questions, raise your hand, and we will add them to the mix. So in the order that we had picked, Mr. Salerno, who is running for the moderator position in the town, you will go first. Mr. O'Donnell, who is the current incumbent, will go second, and Mr. Manning will go third. So with that, Mr. Salerno, you have 2 minutes for an opening statement.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for putting on this forum. My name is Michael Salerno, and I have chosen to run for moderator to bring a balance back to our town government. Our current moderator has done a fine job for many years, but continuing with the same leadership year after year is keeping the town at status quo. There are many bright folks around the community who could bring fresh insights and approaches to the issues facing our community. The moderator has a vast power in shaping our town boards through appointments. I intend to publish those board openings more widely in the hopes of drawing more people into town government when I am elected moderator. In the new millennium, we need new ideas, and I'm the candidate who brings about that change. I grew up in the town of Hingham and currently live in Crow Point with my 2 daughters, Casey and Callie, and my wife, Nancy. We are expecting our 3rd in July. I've served as a sewer commissioner since 2003 and have been elected chair since 2008. In that time, I've been a fiscal watchdog for the department, overseeing responsible development, all budgetary concerns, and public policy. As a Boy Scout and ultimately an Eagle Scout in the community, I worked with the late Representative Mary Janet Murray. Through that experience, I grew a love for politics and giving back to the community. I began working on other campaigns in 1994, helping former Auditor Joseph DiNucci in his Hingham efforts. After volunteering on numerous local and statewide campaigns, I became the campaign manager for then candidate for State Representative Garrett Bradley's successful election bid in 2000. I then joined Bradley up on Beacon Hill in 2001 as his legislative aide. In 2003, I left Bradley's office to become the Director of Public and Constituent Affairs for Senator Brian Joyce. In 2003, while part of the Joyce team, a sewer commission seat opened, and I decided to run and become a commissioner, and have served ever since. In 2005, I left Senator Joyce's office to work for Citizens Bank, where I am currently a vice president and the branch manager of the Hingham Stop and Shop branch.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Thank you very much, and welcome back to Hingham. Thank you to the League once again for this candidates night and also for the wonderful report that members of the League did on town meeting, improving town meeting, and improving the publication of materials in advance of town meeting, which is being adopted and will be very helpful to our process. I've been moderator since 1967. Before that, I've been elected each year. Before that, I was chairman of the advisory committee, and I was chairman of the Board of Appeals, and as a matter of fact, I wrote the first law for historic districts, which was adopted for Hingham. Being moderator, as you know, involves presiding over the town meeting. I've tried very hard to do that objectively and fairly, without fear or favor. In doing that, you can't please everybody all the time, and I have not, but I think my batting average has been pretty high. Most of you have been to many town meetings, and you can judge for yourself how well I've done that, and nothing I can say is likely to change your mind, so I won't try. The other power of the moderator is to appoint important committees, including the advisory committee, the personnel board, and so on, and I've tried very hard to make that an open and welcoming process. From the earliest days of my time as moderator, I initiated in Hingham the open house every spring where any citizens of the town were welcome to come and volunteer their services to the town. And a few years later, the selectmen said, could we join you in open house? And I said, that's wonderful, because you appoint more people than I do. And every year since then, for decades, we've met several evenings in May and June to meet many wonderful citizens who volunteered for service to the town. And without their participation through this process, I don't believe our town meeting could be able to function as effectively as it does for the benefit of all of us. Thank you.
Mr. Manning. And before we go on, I'll just say, since we now have the contested races, I will ask that you hold your applause until we are done with each of the various races so that we can keep this flowing. Thank you. Mr. Manning.
Bernard Manning, I still live at 59 Cushing Street. The town meeting was created to reflect government by the people, pure democracy. The moderator was expected to be fair and impartial and not an advocate for any special interest. Unfortunately, neither requirement was present during the special town meeting held in the summer of 2009. Before that meeting began, I introduced myself to the moderator as his former neighbor, paperboy, and family babysitter. I explained to him that the school committee had no legal right to name a municipal building after Superintendent Gallo, and having retired as Deputy Chief of the Attorney General's Criminal Bureau, my legal research proved beyond any doubt that the state legislature never delegated such a power or authority to any school committee. The moderator told me to speak with town council, which I did. When the town meeting began, I stood at a microphone and waited to be called. After approximately an hour had passed, an announcement was made over the loudspeaker. Someone has been waiting to speak for a long time. I waved. The moderator called the others until there was no one left standing except me. The moderator announced, I will entertain a motion to end the discussion and for a vote. Again, over the loudspeaker came a voice. There is one man waiting to speak. I waved both hands. The moderator repeated his command and it was carried by the assembly. I attempt to ensure integrity and credibility to the position of town moderator. As a career prosecutor, I briefed 4 cases before the United States Supreme Court, taught constitutional law in the legislative process at Northeastern University for 12 years. Thank you.